Welcome to another edition of Import Export Platform Facebook Live from 3Team Pest Academy. My name is Dele Ayemibo, and I would like to talk today about what we started talking about yesterday, and that is having to do with Hesper market entry strategy. And I talked about the full corporate offer. I started discussing full corporate offer yesterday, and in our discussion we talked about the content of a full corporate offer. Remember the fact that full corporate offer is what you are sending to an importer for the first time in order to get their attention, to be able to give you a transaction, to be able to buy your product. And I talk about the fact that you need to create the right impression. You need to show them you are a serious person. You need to show them that you are not joking. You need to show them that what you are requesting for is what you can do. They won't have to find out later that indeed you are just wasting their time. You really cannot do what you have told them you can do. And this is very important because each time you engage a buyer and the buyer grants you attention, and that attention allows you to be able to get a buyer to be able to get contract from that buyer, and you disappoint that buyer. You are not the one that disappointed to. Nigeria have disappointed that buyer. Because in international trade, you see, people don't look for just individual. They buy from a country. They sell to a country. So when someone in the country disappoints, at the back of their mind, that country disappoints. And that is very important, because if that country disappoints, the implication of that is that that country is not reliable. Remember, it's one person that disappointed, but how many people are suffering it? More than one person. That's the interesting thing about export and international trade in general. Disappointment of one is disappointment of all. It takes someone with a large heart. It takes someone that believes in the country he's sourcing from. It takes someone that have had good experience in the country he's sourcing from to want to try that country again. Else they will say, can you imagine the very first person I dealt with in that country, he just wasted my time. We gave him a contract, we gave him an LC. Can you imagine that after 1 month, he came back and tell us that he will not be able to ship because of price? But when he was getting the contract, he showed us evidence of good already in the warehouse. And he turned back to say he will not be able to ship because of price. Then they begin to ask that, which price again now? Is good not in the warehouse? If the good is already in the warehouse, so why do you need, what's the name? Good is already in the warehouse now, so why do we need what you are asking for again? Because the product is presumably in the warehouse. If the product is presumably in the warehouse, then you can't be asking for price, because it's like you have bought the goods, as at the time you were contacting us, you have bought the goods. As at the time you were contacting us, you have bought the goods. So there is no issue of price. So how come you are coming up with pricing? So we begin to create a wrong impression about who we are and about the fact that we cannot be trusted. And remember, when I was talking about the hurdles to be crossed in getting buyer, I talked about the hurdle of character. What kind of character are you demonstrating to the buyer? What are you telling the buyer you can do? Character. If you tell the buyer you can do this, and eventually you cannot live by your words, you have just told the buyer that you are not reliable. So whatever promise you are going to give, please let it be what you can deliver. Like I said, when you disappoint, you are not the one that disappointed, though. Other people in your country will be affected. Especially when you are dealing with a buyer who has not dealt with anybody in your country before. You are going to be creating the impression that everyone in your country is like that. You are going to be creating the impression that everyone in your country is like that. And that means you are going to be destroying the chance of other people in your country being able to get contract or buyer from that company. So the contract from that country. And remember I said the fact that you were able to use some of the export marketing channel I've recommended to get buyer. The fact that you were able to use it. The fact that you were able to use it to be able to get a buyer. And you now have the contact of the buyer. I said that is not enough. I said that is not enough. I said that is not enough. Why is it not enough? That is not enough because you still need to get the contract. And there is an hurdle to be crossed from the time you get the contact till when you get the contract. There are hurdles to be crossed from the time you get the contact to when you get the contract. And the mistake a lot of buyers make, a lot of exporters make, is that assuming that some will say, all I need now is contact. All I need now is contact. All I need now is contact. You don't need contact. You need what it takes to cross the hurdle, such that when you now get that contact, you are guaranteed of contract. So there's a difference between getting contact of buyer. There's a difference between getting contract from buyer. For a buyer to give a contract, the buyer then must be very serious and know that you are very serious and trust that you will be able to deliver. When you turn back, giving reason and excuses why you are unable to deliver, you are basically communicating to that buyer, I am not serious, I am not competent, I am not worthy to be given this opportunity. That is exactly what you are communicating to the buyer. That is exactly what you are communicating to the buyer. And like I said, in international trade, don't look at yourself as an individual. Look at yourself in the context of your country. Your action might be hindering other nationals in your country from having access. Your action might be hindering other nationals of your country from having access to the same buyer or other buyer because of your own inaction, because of your own incompetence, because you have demonstrated to them you can do it, but at the end of the day, you were unable to do it. And that's why we're going through this. Yesterday, I talked about the content of a full corporate offer. I will repeat it now, and then we'll continue from where we stopped yesterday evening. Number 1, seller's name. Number 2, seller's address. Number 3, product specification. Number 4, product description. Number 3. Number 4, quality specification. Number 5, minimum order. Number 6, maximum order. Number 7, payment method. Number 8, payment terms. Number 9, duration for shipment. Number 10, unit price. Number 11, Incoterms. 12, contract period. 13, inspection agent. 14, country of origin. Yesterday we trashed out seller's name and seller's address. So if you are listening to me, you might want to check up other episodes of this program. We have had several episodes of this program, and we are envisaging that we might end up at episode 100. If we end up at episode 100, that will be 50 hours of videos. That will be 2 days. That will be 2 full days of training. 2 full days of training. 50 hours of video. Providing information on export. So that nobody in Nigeria, and indeed other people that are seeing us around the world, have an excuse that, oh, I'm not able to do it because of blah, 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 blah. Any excuse you are giving is no more. Because you now have 2 hours of video online discussing starting and managing export business. Starting and managing export business. The next thing is product description now. Product description. You know, one of the 5 P's of challenges of export as far as 3D Impress is concerned in our design is product, pricing, paperwork, purchaser, and payment. Product, pricing, paperwork, purchaser, and payment. Product, pricing, paperwork, purchaser, and payment. So this morning we are looking at product arm. What do you want to export? What quantity of that item is available? Is it commodity or finished product? If it's commodity, are those farming it? Do they have any commitment to any foreigner to consider them ahead of you? Product. Product. Are you manufacturing the product? Are you adding value? Are you processing? Where are you sourcing your raw material from? How are we sure you'll be able to deliver as promised? We are still discussing product issue. Product, product, product. What can I export from Nigeria? There are so many things you can export from Nigeria. So many things. I would recommend you visit the website of the Nigerian Promotion Council, of the Promotion Council in your country, or promotion agency in your country, to be able to have access to all that is possible for export from Nigeria alone. Product. Describe the product in a concise manner. For example, you can't just say cashew nut. Cashew nut is a wrong description. If I just say cashew nut, that's a wrong description. It's a wrong description because that could mean raw cashew nut. That could mean cashew kernel. That should mean other cashew variants. Other cashew variants. So what's interesting about this is that being able to completely and correctly describe your product is extremely critical. Because, for example, if I say cashew nut, and I mean cashew kernel, someone can supply raw cashew nut. If you are an exporter and the buyer is giving you a description of what you want, let it be very clear. Raw cashew nut, cashew kernel, processed cashew nut or processed cashew kernel. Sometimes the reason why there is need for quality specification is also to be sure, because if I see your quality specification, I can have an idea of if your description is right. There is this very common one, and I'm using cashew nut because I've seen a lot of error for cashew nut in Nigeria. So for example, cashew nut, raw cashew nut. Someone will say, is prospecting a buyer. That's a Nigerian network prospecting a buyer. He has raw cashew nut. But when the buyer contacts him, he's now excited the buyer has responded to his mail. Hooray! 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 Because the buyer has responded to the mail. And he gets so carried away and forget about the fact that he has a job to do. in delivering on that assignment. And you know what happened? The buyer put quality specification in the contract that presupposes that he intended to import cashew kernel. So I saw in that contract W320, W350, W240. And I asked the guy, what do you say this buyer want to buy? He said the buyer want to buy cashew nut. Which of the cashew nut? Is it raw cashew nut in shell or without shell? I said, of course it's raw cashew nut now. I can't process now, it's raw cashew nut. But the specification the buyer put there is not depicting raw cashew nut. That specification is depicting that it's a kernel. Kernel means that the raw shell has been removed and we are looking at that tiny white stuff inside the cashew nut. And the guy says, oh wow, okay, that's what the buyer wants. Can you imagine? Let's assume that this guy already assumed this is what the buyer wants, cashew nut, and then he had to drive down because he was to come back the same day. And he drove down to go and buy the cashew nut, only to send pictures or to ship, and the buyer say, no, what you are selling to me is not what I'm looking for. What you are selling to me is not what I'm looking for. Don't you think that would be a disaster? A very big disaster in my opinion. That the buyer is getting to know about that you have shipped the wrong product when the good arrive at destination. What could be more horrible than that? No, what could be more horrible than that? You know? What could be more horrible than that? That's a big challenge, man. Because you'll have incurred a lot of cost and you might be looking at a lot of money. Why? You are dealing, you have not correctly defined what your buyer wants. And because you did not correctly define what the buyer wants, you know what has happened? You have not been able to. You have not been able to ship the right product on the strength of product description error. So any product you're given, reconfirm. In fact, the reason why quality specification comes immediately after product description is just to correct this error and anomaly I've been talking about. If we're able to do that, I can assure you, we won't be having this issue again, in which case you now realize at the late hour that, you know what, this guy, who this lady, they are going with, this buyer, this seller they are going with, that marriage will not work, because the product you're asking for, he doesn't have it. He only have the primary state of that product. You are looking at intermediate state or the secondary state. But the description have betrayed us, and the description have not made us to understand the fact that we have not been able to define correctly what we want to buy. So if I talk about specification, if it's cashew, I'll be looking at specification like not count, specification like outturn, specification like moisture content, specification like admixture. Now, I'm basically telling you that you've got to know the product you want to buy. You've got to know the product you want to buy. You know what I realized? Many don't even know the product they want to buy. I mean, many don't even know the product they want to buy in terms of the quality specification of their product. So I will spend the remaining part of this today's program, and I will spend a good chunk of the evening session discussing specification, quality specification of some very important products. Remember, we are looking at full corporate offer, and we are looking at a section on specification. So for example, if you look at cocoa, for example, cocoa, what are the quality specification of cocoa? A typical buyer that want to buy cocoa will tell you moisture should not be more than 8%. The beans count should not be more than 100 to 115 per 100 gram. 100 to 115 per 100 gram. Mold 3 to 5%. Slaty 4 to 5%. E. coli presence negative. Broken beans 2 to 3%. Impurities 2 to 4%. What I've just read to you now is quality specification. You need to understand that the difference between local trade and export trade is specification. The difference between local trade and export trade is specification. If the specification is not well defined and not well taken care of, you know what? You might have an issue. You might have an issue. You might have an issue with that transaction if the specification is not well taken care of. Look at cashew nut. A typical buyer wants a cashew nut in shell, nut count 180 to 200 per kg. Nut per kg. Moisture about 8 to 10% max. Defective nut 15% max. Add mixture 0.25% max. Kernel output ratio 48 to 50, minimum of 48 pounds per 80 kg bag. Remember, we are discussing quality specification. We are discussing quality specification. And we're saying, if you are going to do anything on trade, get your quality specification right. If you are going to do anything on trade, get your quality, especially on export, specification right. Let's look at for charcoal, hardwood charcoal. Most buyers will say ash content 3 to 4%, volatile matter 5 to 10%, wood matter 2 to 4%, size 20 to 120 mm, carbon 65 to 80% carbon, moisture content 8% max. Moisture content 8% max. You see this specification I'm reading to you? Many don't even know about them until they get their first contract. And they have convinced the buyer they can do it. Now they have a contract to sign and they are just getting to know about the quality specification. Please note that the quality specification I'm reading to you in this training, you can find them in our Export Business Made Easy. Export Business Made Easy is a publication of 3 Thinkers Trade Academy, and basically highlight all that you need to learn as far as export business is concerned. It is easy, it is convenient, and it is available free of charge. It is easy, it is convenient, and it is available free of charge. On our website, the video, but the book is available at the sum of 7,500 if you need to pick up a hard copy. But we have summarized it also in video free of charge on our Facebook page. Grab a copy of Export Business Made Easy, 7,500, and that can be delivered to you anywhere in Lagos. If you want it outside Nigeria, it can be delivered to you anywhere in Nigeria actually. At 75, if you're outside Nigeria, we'll just give it to a bus driver, you pick it up at the bus park in your own location. I've just read out the quality specification of charcoal. In the evening, we'll continue and I'll be reading about the quality specification of sesame seed. I'm reading the quality specification of sesame seed. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Dele Ayimibo and this is Import Export platform, Facebook Live from 3T Impest Academy. Remember, this video is on our YouTube channel, 3T Impest. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more video, and to get notification, click on the bell. Also remember to drop your comment. Don't forget to like the video. Share. Thank you very much and have a great day. See you in the evening by 6 p.m.